As you may have noticed, new background. We've done the moving thing. I'm gonna try and not talk too loud because there's a big echo, which hopefully will go away because I'm feeling like here is where my TARDIS is gonna go. So that should help keep in the sound a little bit. And like, we're actually not completely unpacked. Like, this is the state of our bedroom right now. Sorry for the poor sound quality. I know that technically 1 p.m. started yesterday, but as you can see, I was in the middle of moving yesterday, and it was very, very busy, and technically we don't even still have internet yet, so I don't actually know when I'm going to be able to upload this. Hopefully tomorrow at the absolute latest, but they said it would be turned on today. So today is the beginning of 1 p.m., 1 poem per month. I'm very excited to do this. I have been trying to read more poetry recently because I don't know a lot about it, and I would like to know more about it, and I find that reading it is super helpful in learning about it. I'll put a link to the Goodreads down below. It is where every month you either do a separate video or you tack a poem on the video you are doing, and you read a poem, and this month is limericks, and I'm sure they also wouldn't mind if you wanted to post a video late if you're just finding out about it, because it's a lot of fun, and I like that you don't have to do a separate video. I can just read limerick in front of my video, as I always do. I sell the best brandy and sherry to make my good customers merry, but at times their finances run short as it chances, and then I feel very sad, very. I give that 3 out of 5 stars. I thought that was pretty cute. So today for the bulk of the video, I'm going to be reviewing Isaac Asimov's Prelude to the Foundation. I finished it a little while ago, and I have had some time to think about it. And so now here I am. I'm also going to apologize right now. I might not have the review as good as I normally do because I can't find the papers where I wrote down all my notes about this book right now because they're all in boxes somewhere. I may not hit all my usual talking points, and if I forget something, I'm very sorry. What's really interesting about this book is chronologically, it is the first book in the Foundation series. This book and its sequel are technically a prequel duology for the Foundation series. So people who grew up with the Foundation series read Foundation first, and then this was done after that series was over. Isaac Asimov, for those of you that don't know, is one of the grandfathers of science fiction, one of the ones that defined the genre. This man named Harry Seldon is a mathematician, and he comes up with this very general theory for this idea called psychohistory, and it is the theory that we could mathematically predict the future. Harry is a very lovable protagonist. He's very young when he gets to present his theory of psychohistory at a mathematicians' conference that is held every year on the galaxy's capital. And the galaxy is now the Empire, and they're run by one man who lives on Trantor. And these planets literally span out the galaxy. There are people that never see their capital city, or their capital planet where the Emperor lives, and they don't really live outside themselves. We've become very disconnected, but in some way we've managed to stay together through government. A lot of powerful people want psychohistory. They want Harry, and they want him to develop it so that they can use it. And along the way, he makes friends, and he finds enemies, and it's kind of your basic running away from the law, trying to figure out who's on your side story. Even though the plotline isn't that original, the cultures that Harry Seldon interacts with, and the people he interacts with, and the places that him and his sidekick Doors go are pretty cool. There's a lot to dissect in this book, which makes me excited to someday pick it up again. I think when I do pick it up again, I'm going to read it in publication order rather than chronological. This book is really just some good, fun sci-fi. I decided to give it 3 out of 5 stars. I would say catalog it. Put it on your to-be read list. Catalog it. At least these first 2 books. I'm glad that people have been telling me to read this for a long time, and because I'm so glad I read it. It was so enjoyable. The biggest reason I decided to give it 3 out of 5 stars rather than 4, because it really is very good. But his sidekick, Doors, is a woman, and they make a little bit... they mention a little too often that she's not good at math. Like, every time Harry starts talking about psychohistory, which is a lot because that's the reason he's running around this planet, she's just like, Harry, you gotta explain to me. I'm not good at math. I don't get it. That bugs me. That really bugged me, and it really bugged me throughout, and I thought at the end of this book maybe they were going to do something about it. They didn't. They didn't at all. I thought maybe it had been a ruse. I had hopes. No, she's just bad at math. And I get that, like, I'm bad at math. I'm awful at math. But the problem is they make it such a stereotype. You only have to say it once and then just make Harry not so insensitive. I find it a little bit more forgivable because this was written in the 40s or 50s. And actually, its portrayal of women is pretty far forward for that time period. I definitely really needed this book when I had gotten halfway through the volume 1 of History of Rome. I needed something just light and fun and page-turny. I'm gonna read you a little bit from this. This is page 8, so it's not spoilery, but Harry is going to the Imperial Palace. He's making this trip out to the Imperial Palace, and what's interesting about Trantor is it's a world covered in domes. If you go above the domes that people live under, it's just like these bubbles, like scales, all the way out into the distance. Except where the Imperial Palace is. He kind of mocks it a little bit in a later book about how, like, well, one emperor decided that he would feel more important if he was the only one living out of doors, and then the next emperor did it, and the next emperor did it, and now it's just how it's done. How traditions are made on the whim of men. A door opened and the ground car sped through. When the door closed behind them, they were in the open, the true, the real open. There were 250 square kilometers of the only stretch of open land on Trantor, and on it stood the Imperial Palace. Selden would have liked a chance to wander through that open land, not because of the palace, but because it also contained the Galactic University, and most intriguing of all, the Galactic Library. And yet, in passing from the enclosed world of Trantor into the open patch of wood and parkland, he had passed into a world in which clouds dimmed the sky and a chill wind ruffled his shirt. He pressed the contact that closed the ground car's window. It was a dismal day outside. The writing itself is very basic. There's nothing flowery about it, or I would even say profound or interesting. It's just well written. It's not very well edited. At least this edition is not very well edited. For the most part, the sentences just flow. Like I said, 3 out of 5 stars. Put it on your to be read list. Catalog it. And make sure you join 1 p.m. on Goodreads if you made it this far and didn't do it at the beginning of the video. I will be coming to you next week with a short form review for my first short story from my anthologies I picked up. Thanks for reading and have a great day. We moved. It is now over. Everything is inside the new apartment. This right here, it's very big and very blank. And share some poetry with us. I'm really excited. This is kind of great because I have a general idea what I do for my poetry reviews for my short form review, but I think it's going to be really fun to gather some more and, like, maybe I'll just have so many short form reviews for poetry to pick from that I'm gonna have to, like, make a list.